Good evening, morning, afternoon, good night, depending on where you are. I will be waiting a little bit for more people to join. And in the meanwhile, I will just talk a little bit about the plans for today, what we're going to cover. The fact that I'm back in my hometown, Piatra Neamț, for a little while. Also, I don't have my full setup. That's why I'm taking the microphone by hand. There's quite a lot of things, a lot of interesting things to talk about today, and I am really looking forward to discuss them. Hello, Hugo. Nice to see you too. Pleasure, like always, on those live streams. And yeah, there's, as I said, there are quite a few things to talk about, and also the microphone. As far as I know, this thing, as long as I keep it really close to my mouth, it should be fine. But I don't know, it's a bit tricky. Also, it's not my best camera, so there are quite a few technical challenges, but I think you will be fine. I think you will be quite alright. I have my main microphone, which is probably the most important, and the other things will work with a little help from the internet and from you, hopefully, because tonight we'll have a little Q&A kind of thing, really. Not a Q&A per se. I mean, obviously you are welcome to say absolutely anything you want, to ask anything you want. Probably will not be really about actual Romanian, as in discussing grammar and stuff, but if you have any other kind of questions, techniques, what else? Stuff like tips and tricks and any kind of advice that you want to share. At that point, for the second part of the stream, the quick Q&A, the question and answer will be where to ask them. And until then, I have some things to show and talk about. Hello, Bernard. Good evening from my behalf, depending on where you are. Might be different. And yes, the first part will be about the next things that will happen in the Romanian Academy over the next, I suppose, couple of months, really. 2 months or so. I hope really everything that I will mention in this first part of the stream will be ready by the end of June. But it depends on a couple of things. And probably before we start with that content, by the way, I hope you enjoy my drawing of the Romanian Academy logo. It's very professional, which is really cool because also last evening I have talked, and for one of the surprises that you'll see later on in this stream, let's just say we will have a graphic designer kind of person that will help as well. So all the dull content so far in the Romanian Academy could potentially get better visually as well. And yeah, so that's exciting news on that side. And then, yeah, one of the things that I really want to say to begin with, I will be, hi Bernard, I will be speaking in English, just so everybody knows. Like, if anybody else speaks Spanish, they will be very welcome to chat. But I will be speaking in English for the stream. So first thing, as I said before, we get into the nitty gritty, are that like over the last few weeks, some really interesting feedback and some really interesting facts about the Romanian Academy popped up, and things that I realized, and things that obviously people brought on, comments and in private messages and so on and so forth. I am very aware since the moment I started this project that it's not that is new. The way I want to do it, it's new, and probably some people don't have a clear idea of exactly what I want to do here with the Romanian Academy. But I will explain in a second. And because of this difference in the way people perceive what's happening here in the Romanian Academy, and the way I wanna like the pace that I would like this to go, there might be some discrepancies, and it might take a while to get used to it. So I'm asking you for a bit of patience and a bit of to keep practicing Romanian in your own time. There is no right or wrong. I don't think I am right by any means, but in the way I do it, like I don't think this is the ultimate truth. The way I talk about Romanian on this channel, but this is my way of talking about Romanian from what I've seen from learning other languages, from teaching people for over 4 years, from interacting with different languages trying to learn Romanian, and really everything that has happened since December when I started the Romanian Academy full time until now, which is quite a journey already. And yes, I know there's not the pace is still slow, but I hope the content is all right. And I know it's a bit niche the way I tell Romanian. I try to be a bit different than the classic boring YouTube grammar videos that are everywhere, and also a bit different than the classic Instagrammer or TikToker. Compared to those, I try to do things a bit differently. And yes, as I said, it might take a while sorry, to do it exactly the way I want, and also for you to see it. I do speak fluently, only 2. I wouldn't say I'm fluent in Spanish. I do know it well enough to live in a Spanish country, as I did for 2 years in Barcelona. And yeah, so also one thing that I want to mention about the people who have talked to me, and I have talked to them recently, that are around the Romanian Academy on Patreon, on Discord, on YouTube, just random people asking questions, or just people that have been already with the Romanian Academy since the beginning, or even further, students and so on, that I ask opinions. I do like to ask opinions. That's really another reason this stream is happening. And one thing that I know is that learning a language is, or can get, extremely boring. And yes, I am very much aware of this. And I know probably some people will struggle with being with keeping the motivation going for the whole process of learning a language, fluently or not. So my advice is just don't put pressure on yourselves. There's no reason to learn Romanian in 3 months, which is impossible, by the way. So Yes, there's one thing out of the list. I really wanted to say that. I really want to tell you that I understand everybody who's on this channel, also on Discord, also on Patreon. It's a message for all of you out there who are maybe struggling at times to learn Romanian. They don't have time, they don't have the energy, they don't have the motivation, and so on and so forth. That done. Who would be the Romanian equivalent of Shakespeare? Oh my god, that's that is a very good question. Well, I have to say, okay, that's I think I need to think a little bit about that. Is it okay if I answer it in the Q&A a bit later, or do you want to put me on the spot right now and and find out who could be the Romanian Shakespeare? Because I honestly, I think it's quite difficult right now to come on an answer. I will think about it a bit, okay, and then we'll find out maybe together. I will make a note on that. No, don't be don't be sorry. It's completely fine. I mean, there are many things to consider, especially the way Romanian history is compared to the English one, and then the way. I mean, so the Q&A session will be you can ask any question at any given time, but I would probably prefer to present some things already. I mean, look. The first thing that you should think about when you ask, that I would think about when you ask that question is that Romanian in the what is it? I don't want to mess up numbers. Is it 16th century? Yeah, 16th century. Okay, back then, Romania started to become completely ruled. Like if they were kind of dependent on bigger empires and states, then starting the years of Shakespeare, the Romanian lands were just becoming more and more dependent on the Ottoman Empire mainly and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So you couldn't really talk about that context anything close to the English one until maybe the 18th, 19th century. 19th century. And also the plays are not the same. So Shakespeare, I think, in my opinion, to answer that quickly, it would be a combination of Eminescu, which wrote poetry, and Caragiale, because Caragiale is the biggest dramaturgist, playwright in the Romanian history. So I would say a combination of those two. We don't have anything close to Shakespeare, but I would say a combination of those two guys. That's my answer. So yeah, I was gonna start talking about the website. So just 1 second. I'm just setting a little bit things up, and are we talking about website first? Or are we talking about social media first? So there are 3 things that I will cover immediately. So there's the social media side of things. There's the RomanianAcademy.com, the website, and there is the first course that's going to come up at the end of June, hopefully beginning of July latest. So yeah, to begin with the presentations. So if you head over to the Romanian Academy TikTok, I just released just before this stream, this brand new, what do we call it? The brand new, what is it? Is this called a TikTok or is this called a video? I have no idea. Whatever it is. So if you head over to the TikTok of the Romanian Academy, I don't know if I can share it, but this is kind of before maybe I'll try to share it, but before, just to give you a little bit of context. So this last video is what I suppose I'm gonna try to do from Instagram or TikTok on social media, YouTube Reels, and so on and so forth. It's a bit different than the classic social media content, but I am asking you to help as well, giving your opinions and what kind of content would you digest, or if you digest at all the content on social media, and if you learn any kind of Romanian from there, because I know many people who do, and there's really, I mean, for me it was an absolute pain to join TikTok, but I'm slowly getting used to it. I cannot say I love it, but it starts. I need to find basically my way of interacting with this, and my way of interacting with TikTok, as I said, it has been going through some testing, so through some ways of doing content, but then I tried earlier something different, and that something different is basically how my, for example, day as a Romanian teacher goes, and the stuff that I find and that I would like to share with you from those classes. This is what this video is about. It's literally a live, a real life situation from earlier on today, when I heard, and I was put in a situation where I wanted to, where I needed to use an expression in Romanian, because my student was able to understand it, and then we discussed about it. And well, without any further ado, let's just watch this. But you need to, I suppose, listen to it first, be able to listen to it, and I'll play it. I have, by the way, I will need some feedback on this because I'm not sure if it will work, but I'm gonna play it.
If you want to learn some really useful Romanian, then you must know that just now I finished my class with one of my Romanian.
Let's do it like this.
Want to learn some really useful Romanian, then you must know that just now I finished my class with one of my Romanian students, and we got into a debate. Both of us shouted arguments, left, right, and center, and then she was talking, and she set the ground perfectly for me to ask a burning question. You see how in English I used set the ground, right? What she did in Romanian is that mi-a ridicat mingea la fileu. She raised the ball to the net. What it means is that she created the perfect context for me to ask that question. Also, it felt like it was the right time and place to ask that question. If you want more useful tips and explanations from Romanian, head to Romanian Academy here on YouTube, on Patreon, or on Discord.
I have no idea if that showed. I will put it again. I honestly have no idea if that showed, but I don't think it did. Yeah, I let me see. No, I don't think it did. I'll play it again. Sorry about that.
Romanian, then you must know that just now I finished my class with one of my Romanian students, and we got into a debate. Both of us shouted arguments, left, right, and center, and then she was talking, and she set the ground perfectly for me to ask a burning question. You see how in English I used set the ground, right? What she did in Romanian is that mi-a ridicat mingea la fileu. She raised the ball to the net. What it means is that she created the perfect context for me to ask that question. Also, it felt like it was the right time and place to ask that question. If you want more useful tips and explanations from Romanian, head to Romanian Academy here.
Okay, so that's basically the way I would like to try to get more content out there on social media, to explain those kind of real life situations on when I get into a conversation about some trick in Romanian, or maybe some other like phrase, or just see the dilemmas that real students face, and then start talking about them on social media. This is something that I plan to start with the Instagram, and who knows? Hopefully by the end of this month, the content on Instagram will be something like that. And also, I have already gone on the streets of Bucharest, and it's been a very interesting experience to ask the people around for tips about if they think something about Romanians. So basically, I started doing some vox pops on the streets of Bucharest to see what Romanians think about something, about, well, let's just say something that a foreigner would care about. So this is really what the content is gonna hopefully be like on social media. But if you have any suggestions, go ahead and ask me. Then let's move to the second part, which is the Romanian Academy website. So this is something that me, together with a really good friend, have started working on. If you want, you can head over to the romanianacademy.com, check it out, feel free, comment, put your email in there if you want, and how do I send this? In the chat, I have no idea. No, I couldn't. Let me try again. Copy and send it to just a second. This is taking a bit longer. Right, there you go. So you have the romanianacademy.com. That's the website that is live right now. And this is the first iteration of the Romanian Academy website. It's a place where I will explain in a second what I plan to do with it and where are we now, because that's quite important as well. What's happening now? Why did I even choose to go live with it already? So please check it out. You have the link in the comments right now. You can go to the romanianacademy.com and check it out. Also, you can see, so you can, if you scroll down a little bit, you can see different paths, and you can see there's a waitlist, email, if you want more information about it. I will go through all of those in a bit more detail, but first what I would like to do is to explain a bit the vision behind this website. Why does it even exist, and what I plan to do with it. So I think that, you know, language should be for anyone to learn. Yeah, language is something that should be super accessible. And you do find, for most languages out there, the techniques and tools to learn that language. The problem, though, is with the content, because Romanian is not English and Romanian is not Spanish, and you will not find really heaps of content really out there. And why am I saying this? Is because this website should kind of ultimately cover those issues. It should solve the problem of content, and it should solve the problem of the free accessible language learning. Yeah, because, for example, yeah, you want to learn Romanian and you have never learned a language before, and you need to learn how to learn a language first. That's what this first path, those are called paths, by the way, as you see here, learning paths. this is why you will get this how to learn a language path to learn how to learn a language. Then maybe you're a bit more advanced and you don't need to learn how to learn a language, but you might need the specific stuff from business environment. Or maybe you have a partner that's from Romania, or maybe you want to travel to Romania and you need a very specific set of tools and content to improve your language skills. This is the way I think this will work, but also there will be a complete free version of it that's going to focus on basically helping you with the basics. I am probably going to do something like the content on YouTube, but shorter, because I know that is an issue right now. Right now, I'm not really. I am aware. I'm aware that this content could be could be shorter, but right now my plan is to put out there as much content on YouTube, explaining as in much detail as possible before I'm going to cut it down, to narrow it down to only the most important things that will be obviously available on YouTube, but also here on the RomanianAcademy.com. And what else? Oh yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to give a little brief comparison to, for example, a book or getting a teacher or a tutor. You know, you're like you usually get to one of those, like a very good grammar book, for example, textbook, or someone that you find online on Italki, on Preply, on whatever, for a recommendation, someone that is going to help you learn that language. Most of people get there either through that or a paid course. Most of the time, if you want to learn a language and you are not already fluent in 15 different languages, you will need some help. You need some backup, and this is what, let's imagine it as a second tier kind of thing. So you'll have this is the website. Yeah, so you'll have the accessible thing, then the content through courses. I will talk about courses in a second, and then even lessons one-to-one with a tutor. This is the plan with the Romanian Academy. They will be split into 3 different tiers, let's say. I don't like to use the word tier because it's been used quite heavily on through Patreon, but yeah, they will be 3 tiers. Right, so that's the YouTube, that's the website. Right now, what this is, oh, and yeah, completely forgot to say that about the website. This is how I hope this is going to work, and how it is going to work with the language. Obviously, there are people who like to use the AI, and they think that's accurate. And for many things, the AI is quite accurate. Even for Romanian, it fails more often than you would like to. And I just saw today that there was a signed letter from former and current employees of Microsoft and Google, OpenAI, and whatnot, that people are not taking the right regulations to what was it? They are not taking the right regulations to they're not doing the right regulations because of money. It's quite interesting. So an open letter by a group of 11 current and former employees of OpenAI and one current and another former employee with Google DeepMind said the financial motives of AI companies hinder effective oversight. Bum bum bum. Yeah, I mean, if you want this link, let me know. I'll put it in the description, in the comments of the live stream. Cool. So where was I? The website. Here we go. And yeah, right now this website is split into kind of, well, 3 parts. This is just, as I said, this is very recently released. There will be more content on the website slowly but surely, and ultimately this will be a place where you'll have content like basically cheat sheets and short videos summarized from, like, summaries of the ones from YouTube and many more. And then on the next step you'll have courses, and those courses will be basically those based on those paths depending on your needs. If you want to learn how to learn, then if you want to learn the main things from that level, from A0 to C2, if you want to learn business Romanian, if you want to learn family-oriented Romanian, talking to your mother-in-law about her childhood, I don't know. Or if you just want to visit Romania and want to experience it a bit better, what kind of language you should know when visiting it, and where should you go, and stuff like that. This is not just going to be about language and vocabulary lists and so on. It's going to be full of practical examples and full of really nice real life goodies based on obviously real life experience. If you had to learn how to learn a language path, this is the first course that is going to come out, hopefully, as I said already, I think it's going to be at the end of this month, but maybe beginning of next month. You have a very detailed description of what this is. It is going to be a short course. It might not be published straight away on this platform, on the RomanianAcademy.com, but this is the first course that's going to come out, and is going to teach you how to, like, the things to consider when you're learning Romanian. And those are the learning objectives. You'll clearly you'll define your motivation. You'll use obviously the CFR framework. I don't like to just invent stuff. And then you will put yourself into the the shoes of a Romanian school kid. So you will see what the way they learn. I learned Romanian, and you're gonna make a little. I'm gonna talk obviously about how being a school kid in Romania is different from being an adult learning Romanian as a second language, but you get the point. You will understand the available methods and tools, so the ways to learn a language, and Romanian specifically, the things like, for example, that are going to be a bit more different in Romanian than others. You will learn how to perceive and process the information from the environment, because, you know, sometimes people ignore that there might be a poster out there or a billboard they could learn a couple of words from. Just a little example. You will learn and find the best method to evaluate your skills, which is something that many people either overlook or just get discouraged because there isn't an entity such as the British Council is, for example, for English, or the Goethe Institute for German, or anything like that. So this is what I'm going to talk about there. And then you will leave the course confident that you chose the right journey, really. And basically what this whole course is about is basically becoming your own Romanian teacher. This is what this is about. Oh, hello, Albert. Nice to see you. I hope you are well. Long time no see. I was just talking about this first course that's going to come up. This is the RomanianAcademy.com, and I really encourage you guys to visit it, and also to check what's already in there. There will be, as I said, there will be slowly more and more on this website. And if you want to learn about it, really, join, put your email in there, and I will create a wait list. And I'll send news through there. It's not your typical newsletter. Don't worry about that. It's just gonna be very important information. Yeah, I hate newsletters. And if you do too, please let me know. Yeah, we should have a Romanian Goethe Institute. Well, ideally, this is what the Romanian Academy is gonna become. But I wanna not set, not dream too big yet. This is the plan with the Romanian Academy. So, where was I? Gotta be distracted with that one. Yeah, put your email in there, please. It would be really nice to let you know about how this is developing, how the RomanianAcademy.com is developing, how the courses are developing, and how this first one about how to learn a language is gonna be about. I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but it would be really nice to show you from my drive the main ideas, the main chapters in this course, which is gonna be focusing. I just briefly gonna touch on them, and what this course is gonna include, and it is about how to learn a Romanian, and hopefully any other language. But again, let's hold our horses there. So what this is split into 8 paths. This is a little preview of how this course is going to look like, and what you'll get is obviously a bit of an intro. I think the motivation is very important to talk about, because many people get very demotivated with Romanian, or I don't know, maybe they have something else to do. They go on a holiday for 2-3 weeks and then they forget everything. They don't want to come back to learn in the same rhythm, or they don't know how to come back to learn in the same rhythm because they think the motivation is gone, stuff like that. Then the big picture is going to be about how how a language really is structured, the general idea about like any language really. The big picture, what it means is the writing, reading, listening, all those skills, and how they depend based on your level, how you advance from one step to another. And I'm going to talk about the CFR framework and the main points through all of this is going to be also through a practical experience. I'm going to take a guy or a girl, a character, and I'm gonna adapt this course to a hypothetical Romanian learner. So I'm gonna call this part, like in this on the website right now, this guy or girl is called Robin. Where did I hear? Right? Yeah, Robin. So is this Robin guy or girl? And I'm gonna base this course on a character, and this character is gonna have different needs, and I'm gonna tell you what all this theory, because there is a lot of theory, but I'm gonna tell you how to use it in practice based on somebody, imaginary or not, that does it. I'm gonna try to be close to my past students and current students and their needs. Then after you learn about the CFR and the big picture with languages, you go through the guide. The guide is, as I said, the school kid approach. You go and check out the curriculum for the... Yeah, that I needed some time for that one. The curriculum for the Romanian language taught in school. And this is really... one way for you to understand how the journey of a Romanian native goes, and how you could adapt right now to that, or if you want to use anything from there. That's what this guide is about. This is probably this is probably the place where I spend the most time on so far, because synthesizing all the information from grade 1 to grade 12, it's an absolute pain. So yeah, there's a lot of TLC involved in the guide, a lot of love in it. Then we go through the tools, and the tools are really the ways to learn a skill, not a language, but a skill. Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll learn a language in the end, but really those tools are to learn a skill. For instance, writing. Yeah, you're right. A message, an email, might write a book. All of those things are different. An essay, an argument. Those we go through all of those tools and how they matter depending on the level. Then the environment. This is probably my favorite. This is my favorite module. It's gonna be about how you adapt to the environment, how you use your skills, how you perceive the environment, and how you are going to basically learn a language if you know how to use your skills, the ones that you are born with. Because this is kind of the difference. Those tools are learned. This is like what do we call it? Nurture, and this is nature. And then the evaluation. This is quite a straightforward one. It's gonna be about like the available options to get evaluation, to test your skills through people, through tests, through language schools, and so on. Then the contract. I'm gonna force you to sign an imaginary contract with some requirements out there, some nice, objective, smart goals, and then I'm gonna say goodbye and probably direct you to the next step. And this is the first language course that I'm gonna release, hopefully the end of next month, this month, beginning of next month. Right, so that's the course done. I think we covered the language course, the social media, and then the website. If you guys, I forgot to ask you, but if you guys have someone that you follow on social media that produces Romanian content, it would be really nice and helpful to let me know in the chat, or if you watch this offline, in the comments. This would be an amazing help for me. Then I think the second part of this stream is ready. I have two questions from Patreon. Well, no, it's actually one question. Well, kind of two. So Lumpy Gravy on Patreon asked a couple of questions that I would really like to answer, because I think they will cover something that many people are interested about. So first one is about the vocabulary. How do you guys learn vocabulary? Or how would you really introduce vocabulary as a learning theme, like a subject of your learning? That would be nice to hear an answer. Otherwise, I'm gonna talk about how I think I would do it if I would learn a new language right now. So just looking at the actual question. Yeah, so increasing your vocabulary, basically that's it. That's the message. How do you increase your vocabulary? I think increasing your vocabulary is really a matter of just practice. Is practice. Like do it in different days. So you have to really do it in different days, a little bit at a time, because otherwise you'll forget it. Vocabulary. What is vocabulary? Is words, right? Is new words, and you'll forget them if you don't learn them as often as you should. So, this is one thing you want to get completely out of the way, to try to not forget, and to introduce new vocabulary occasionally, regularly, actually. Now, there is one trick with that I think, in my opinion, is extremely relevant and important. And that trick with vocabulary is relevance. This is supposed to spell relevance. So, relevance is a trick thing, because sometimes I know that I would struggle really, really hard if there would be like a really fancy word. And I know that with Spanish, for example, happened so many times when I was like, do I really need to learn how to say, I don't know, drown right now? Or not? Because maybe you don't. And you should stick to the vocabulary most appropriate to the piece of language that you want to learn. And by language is by piece of language, I mean, do you want to learn food vocabulary? Do you want to learn business vocabulary? Like in you kind of divide that further. So you have the big category of, let's say, food, and then you learn how to you kind of divide it as much as possible. So in food you have what? You have fruits, you have veggies, you have beans, whatever. You have verbs of cooking. You have, for example, verbs of serving. It's like a mind map, really. This is what vocabulary really is. It's a mind map. And then what else do you have? Something else. And then in veggies you have root veggies. And then you have other veggies. And in fruits you have seeds. No, all of them have seeds, Jesus Christ. You have tropical fruit, berries, beans, I don't know, lentils, and so on. And you start dividing this and moving up on one of those branches at a time, or like this. You can choose. It depends. Like everybody has different ways of learning this. You can go vertical or horizontal. If you get bored, like me, you would go horizontal and learn a bit of fruits today, a bit of veggies tomorrow, and so on. Or you can just learn all the veggies in a month, for example. So this is what vocabulary is doing, splitting all of those into achievable things, doing it regularly, and you can do this regularly through spaced repetition. I really recommend actually spaced repetition. I think is really cool. You have this video up here and lesson as well. I think I'm gonna put this link in the chat. I think it's quite useful for you to learn a bit of spaced learning if you don't know that already. And spaced repetition, not spaced learning. And that's, I think, in my opinion, how you'd learn vocabulary. You have to touch on 3 things. Yeah. So choosing the area you want to cover, setting up a schedule. For example, you can use an app like Anki or real flashcards to do this, to learn words, and then to make sure what you learn today you will learn also, if not tomorrow, then next week at least. Yeah, this is how I would learn vocabulary. Then, well, this is not really question per se. But I want to address one thing. I noticed this happens with language quite often, and this is hopefully something I'm going to fix a bit with the Romanian Academy website, and with those two paths. So with those two paths, I'm going to hopefully sort out the problem of broad questions or broad requests when learning a new language, because yeah, sometimes it's really interesting for me to hear things like, how do I learn something very quickly? Or how do I get to fluency as soon as possible? Or how do I how much will I be able to learn in 3 months? Those questions are literally as big as I don't know, for some reason one of my one example that crossed my mind right now was, it is the same thing as building a stadium. Imagine this is a stadium. This doesn't look anything like a stadium. It looks like a pot. Yeah. We have this sort of stadium. It's covered, blah blah blah. And then you have many windows and so on and so forth. So it's literally the same. Like asking one of those questions is, how do I build it? I mean, you need so many things, right? You need the plan, you need the material, you need the people, you need everything like that. So this is for a stadium, and it's almost the same for a language. You need to choose your tools. You need to know where to ask questions. You need to know what your objective is, for example, because here you know exactly how this is going to look like. But with a language, how on earth do you know you speaking fluently that language is going to look like? So those kind of questions really depend a lot on the person, and they really depend a lot on the environment, and they also depend a lot on how you perceive things and how your brain is working and how you feel about that language, and many, many more things. How much time you allocate to do this, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of things to cover when asking those questions. How do I learn something very quickly? Well, it really depends on your situation. So that being clear and out of the way, I would invite you to ask me any question you have, please. And I'm gonna look to see if there's any other question I have from, because I have a list, but there are rather language questions. So yeah, please feel free to ask anything in the chat. Well, give me a second, please. One thing that probably is worth mentioning about this this word, how do I do it quickest? and the most efficiently? Because this is quite a good question, I think. Again, this really depends on you, but I think everybody's interested in how to do it the quickest. Well, you will probably need a set of skills, including curiosity, learning how to learn a language as well, because many people really underestimate that. Many people think just learning a language is learning a language. Anybody can do that. Well, yes, I agree. Anybody can do that, but some with more effort than others. Then the place you're in, for example, you might not have any Romanian around. I'm talking about Romanian here because it's the Romanian Academy. And how are you going to do that? Well, you want to facilitate that. You want to get yourself in positions where there is Romanian and Romanians. You want to get yourself in those circles, in those groups, in those places surrounded by Romanian, spoken, written. You want to slowly get used to speak to people that speak that language. This is how we work, really. This is how we work. This is how our brain works. Learning a language is a bit different than learning a programming language, something that I realized across the years. It's much easier to learn a programming language than to learn a language. I'm talking for the people who know. Maybe some of you don't or have never learned a programming language. But the environment there is quite limiting compared to the environment out there on the window of the window. So it's really being proactive and using the skills you are born with rather than ones you learn. I mean, obviously, first put into practice the ones that you're born with and then learn techniques. Because just by seeing, speaking, and listening, yeah, you can do quite a lot. And yeah, many people really skip that or ignore that. Or maybe they're drawn too much to TikTok. I don't know. Right. I see there's nobody asking questions, so I don't have any. This is, by the way, this is not a Q&A session about language, just so you all know. We have that next week on Patreon, if you are boss or above. But today I'm not answering language questions about cases and pronouns and stuff. I would be happy to, but it's not on the board. Any more Shakespeare questions? That was a really good one. I swear to God, that was an amazing question. One about Shakespeare. If some of you haven't been here from the beginning, and you look in the chat, one of the questions from Bernard was, who would be the Romanian equivalent of Shakespeare? And I think, in my opinion, is a combination between Mihai Eminescu, the biggest Romanian poet, and Ion Luca Caragiale, one of the few people the few names in Romania that they actually get to have a cacophony in their names and being accepted by the right institutions and so on. No, he died in Germany. That's interesting. So he is the biggest playwright, and Eminescu is the biggest poet. You find this guy on the bill of 100 lei. There we go. That's him. That's Caragiale. He has really funny plays, I have to say. And then Eminescu, who, like any poet, he's just messed up in the brain. Sorry. So yeah, that would be Shakespeare. Like otherwise, well, like let's see what was Shakespeare doing. Sorry, not what was Shakespeare. What was Romania doing when Shakespeare was alive and writing plays? He lived only 34 years. I mean, he is very close in that aspect to Eminescu. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah. He actually wore a ring, an earring. Is this real? I didn't know Shakespeare wore a earring. What was I gonna do? Yeah, so what was Romania doing back then? Let's have a look, shall we? Apart from Mihai Viteazu, who was uniting the three principates in this guy in 1600. Before him, there was a lot of basically. I mean, to be honest, I think I said that earlier. But everything that happened up to the death of Shakespeare, yeah, because we took that reference in time, is everything that started like it was literally. If you take 1600 or whatever 1616, but 1600 is probably the best. Yeah, so from like the 1400s, everything was like this, a bit like this, and then it went like this, and then in 1600, this is, by the way, what I'm representing here is how much the Romanians were fighting against the opposition. Then in 1600, everything went to what this guy did, which is the unification, and then boom. So yeah, this is what was happening back in Romania back then. Fighting, trying to survive, dealing money with the Ottomans, and then pretty much nothing until the beautiful year of 1859. So yeah, let's just say when Shakespeare was alive, Romanians didn't have poetry on their mind. That was really, really good. Cool. If there are no more questions, I would suggest checking one more time the RomanianAcademy.com. Follow Twitter and soon Instagram. There is a video tomorrow about cases. Yes. There is a really good video, I think, tomorrow coming about cases, and that's where hopefully it will all make more sense with cases, because the previous one was a little bit of an intro. It was a bit of how to get your hand around cases, which is without much preparation. It's just like an intro. This is what an intro is. But But tomorrow you're gonna get like proper explanation for cases based on the last few weeks of research and also content released on Patreon as well. And then next week it's a Q&A session with questions from the language. I will be answering Quora and Reddit questions and questions from my own lessons and questions that you can ask on Patreon. And so far it's been quite fun to see what people have been asking, really, and what's out there in the wild, what kind of things people don't know about and want to know about in Romanian. And yeah, this week we'll have the normal schedule on Patreon with that, the speaking challenge, and then the crash course, which, by the way, as a little reference, the video tomorrow will really benefit you if you know the pecare, pecine, pe, just pe with accusative, something that was discussed quite in depth a few weeks ago on a crash course on Patreon. So yeah, social media is gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be very close, maybe, to what I am testing right now on TikTok, and that's gonna pop up, and it's gonna be full of really useful material and real life stories, because I think I should make it relevant. But also, I see that people are not so interested in those live streams anymore. So probably I'm gonna put a hold on them. Really, we'll see how it goes in the next weeks. And I don't know if there will be a next live stream on YouTube anytime soon, depending on how this does in the next days. Obviously, the ones on Patreon, they will be running, but depending on how this does, there might be a complete pause, a break from live streams on YouTube. Who knows? Maybe live stream 4 was the last one for a while. I loved your energy and your questions tonight, and if there's anything else, let me know now. Otherwise, I'm gonna hit the gym. So otherwise, yeah, and have a wonderful evening, you all, or morning. And I'll be hope you're well. Maybe we get a chat at some point. Cool. Well, no question. I guess that means the end of the live stream today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you're excited about the next steps in the Romanian Academy. Probably not so excited about the lack of streams from now on. I don't know. Again, I will see how it goes with this one. And well, I'll see you in the next one. La rivedere.